owe yourself. Your generation need to be the better of your parent generation. If you have that mindset, you can achieve anything in this world if it's according to the will and purpose of your life, according to Christ Jesus. Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
So altogether, you said 10 grand for the
Estimate,
fees, roughly,
plus,
and then just under 5 for the application.
Yeah, both application,
15K.
Yeah. You may be at a different place in your life. This may not be for everybody because this is an emotionally challenged marathon. What you're gonna do in your life. There's no guarantee the application is gonna be approved and all the money you are spending.
Welcome back everyone to NorSpeaksOut. I'm Nor, of course, and you know this channel is all about African history and diaspora stories. And this is our first part 2 of our story. So you saw Ernest part 1. You need to go back and watch that video again. I'll leave a link in the description box, and also you'll have a place to click to watch his first video and see what was going on and find out before you watch this one. And see the progression and see the next steps forward. So if you don't mind, Ernest, can you just introduce yourself, to the viewers once again? Tell us a little bit about yourself without giving everything away.
Of course. So hello guys, my name is Ernest, and a little bit of myself. I'm a PE specialist at Mora Primary School. Mm-hmm. I just graduated from university and I run the half program. Thank you.
And I run the half program. Thank you very much. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so we heard your story last time. Heard a little bit about your history. You come into the UK when you're about 14, and some of the things you experienced initially when you arrived, and then also some of the difficulties you experienced. So just wanted to sort of, from that point forward, we left off in the previous video. You had made your application for British citizenship. So what has taken place with you at the moment? What's happened since that last video?
Thank you very much for the summary of the previous video. So just to correct you tiny bit there. So the last video we ended on, I was waiting to receive my indefinite leave to remain card or biometric card, which eventually came. Thank God and thank those who really supported me during this process. My family, my friends, people from church, people from Mora Primary School, education sector, governing board, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So that actually became officially a settlement resident of the UK in March of 2022. And then after I received that, later that year, which is last year, I decided to go attend university to do a top-up degree in business management, which happened last September. And then fast forward this year, in April, I will have officially leave without being immigration control. That means if you have the indefinite leave to remain, you have to be here for 12 months without then having immigration control. Then you can apply for British citizenship, which I did in April, and that was approved in August. And I went to the citizenship ceremony, and I became a British citizen on the 1st of September this year. And then I received the passport a few weeks later, and then I graduated as well from the top-up degree in business management, people's management, Bachelor of Science, from Bolton University, which I did at Regent College, November 2nd of this year. Yeah, nice. So there have been a lot of things. A lot of things have happened.
And in a very short space of time, because it was 2 years when we did your initial interview. So in 2 years, you've got indefinite leave to remain. You've topped up your degree now. And remind me again the degree in
business management, people's management. Yeah, and then I became a British citizen now.
And a British on top.
Yeah, okay, so I have a dual nationality now. Yeah,
a lot of things happening in like a very short space of time. So just very quickly, for anybody who is again in Africa, in the Caribbean, thinking or in the UK at the moment, maybe they've made their application for indefinite leave to remain or even citizenship. What sort of advice would you give to those people? Any recommendations for them, things that they can do, put in place in terms of getting things sorted or things that they can do even while they wait for these results to come in?
Of course, Doreen, thank you for that question. It's a very important question. So the first thing, guys out there, you need to do is, of course, have financial resources, because immigration is a very expensive process. Make sure you have money for the application. Ideally, make sure you are using a reliable, outstanding legal firm. That's very, very important. And make sure you have outstanding people, friends, who will be able to write character reference for you or witness statement for you. And make sure as well you also been outstanding in the UK to the best of your ability. You have contributed to the life here. You want to make this country your home. You are working, it's possible. You are paying taxes through either payroll or self-assessment. Whatever means you are contributing positively to the society here. Try your best. You are not in trouble with the justice system, i.e. have criminal record. I'm not saying your application will not be approved, but what I'm also saying as well, the chances there, if you don't have criminal record, is so much more in your favor if you do have criminal record as well. So and ultimately, by the grace of God, because I'm a Christian, pray about these things, speak to people who can give you spiritual counseling about these things. But ultimately, you need to do practical things as well, because it's not just about praying. If you just pray and think this is going to happen, you are wasting your time. Prayer without works, I mean, is pointless really in this particular context. So please don't get me wrong.
In every context, I would say. But okay, fine. But can we take it back? You said quite a few different things in terms of things that people can do. So let's just break down quite a few of the things that you said, just to make sure our viewers understand a little better. So you said, first of all, finances. So you need to make sure you've got enough money. Do you mind, how much would you say you've spent on, go back even sort of indefinite leave to remain, also citizenship, just so people back home are aware of the cost to get indefinite leave to remain, so they can remain in this country, settle, work easy, fine, and travel. And then also for citizenship too, can you just give us sort of a ballpoint figure as to how much that will cost?
Of course. So thank you again. I'm going to answer that question in two formats. Format one, when I put in my application for indefinite leave to remain in 2017. Now, those days, how much people were paying for indefinite leave for a single application, on top of my head, there was about, I think, £2,195. And I do know, fast forward now, indefinite leave application is about 2,800 something pounds.
Okay.
So we have to understand the context. So that is like a single application. And then in terms of citizenship, I know citizenship application been about £1,330 what I paid in April, but I do know that the government have also increased that, I think, to about between 30 to 40%. So now it will be about 1,500, and this includes the ceremony as well to the council. But this exclude the £83 or £93 plus the posting, if you have to pay for special delivery for the passport. And if you want the standard passport, which is 32 pages, I think it will be about £83. But if you want the bigger passport, which is about 52 or 50 pages, you have to pay extra £10. And I ask people, why not getting the bigger passport? It's 10. You already spend a lot of money, so why not just spend the extra money? But this is from the perspective of your application for citizenship have already been approved, and you already done your citizenship ceremony, and now the next step is to apply for your first British passport.
I'm with you. Okay, fine. So altogether, indefinite leave and British citizenship, that's about 4.5, 5K?
Yeah, estimated. Yeah.
On the figures that you paid in the past, which we know.
And that will exclude things like legal fees.
Okay, tell us a little bit about how much roughly you've spent on the legal costs for both indefinite leave and for...
Of course. Now, I will warn you, the indefinite leave, I think I shared that in my previous video. when I applied in 2017, after 3 years, the Home Office refused it, so I had to challenge them at the tribunal. We didn't really physically went to the tribunal, but we showed our intention to go there. So that means I had to respond. I had to came up with lots of evidences. I'm not going to go back to so much details, but what I will say there is paying for legal fees for lawyers, barrister to prepare a case for you for lower tribunal or upper tier tribunal. It costs lots of money. Estimates between £8,000 because of the fact that, yes, because of the fact that my kids were very unique and special. Then I came to this country as a diplomat's child, and we're looking at lots of the Geneva Convention, the Human Rights Act, a lot of different laws we're looking at as well. And thank God, by the grace of God, Penny, which is my former solicitor, did an amazing job and on my immigration for indefinite leave to remain. But it was not cheap process. It was long, and that's why I encourage people to prepare for such. And it was on the basis that the application was refused at the first time, and then we appealed, and then they considered the new evidence that was submitted, and then they granted it. Now, with my citizenship application was different because thank God everything was done smoothly and it wasn't refused, but yet I still use a lawyer as well. I use a lawyer called Philip Ashura, Mami mentioned her name, from the same law firm, and of course I spent an estimated close to £2,000. Again, to have my peace of mind, I'm really good. I would say good at paperwork and good at lots of things, but I work full time, and to just have that professional insight, checking all legal paperwork to submit. And I have a lot of legal paperwork and statement in my favor. I've done so much in the UK, yet I still chose to use a solicitor to submit the application, to prepare the application for me, because simply because of the previous application, which was my indefinite leave, and how it went. So again, estimate what you're talking about, maybe for the both process, maybe close to £10,000 or more. Do I regret that? Of course not, because I have my peace of mind, and by God's will, at least I don't worry about this anymore. Thank God. But of course, life in general, you always have other challenges as well. But I would say to those people who trying to settle here, or those people who overseas trying to come here, the immigration laws, the government also expressed they're trying to change it. Well, they started the process already. They're going to bring in new system in place where I think about £38,700 in terms of how much you have to be earning in order to come here on a working visa. Of course, people who come in for master program, they can no longer really bring their dependents here. And there are a lot of other changes happening. I would say seek legal advice. I'm not a qualified solicitor or barrister. It may seem that I know a lot about this, which I do, but I'm not a qualified solicitor or barrister. But I'm happy to meet with people, to give them advice, to share my experience. But ultimately, seek legal advice. Make sure you are working. Make sure you prepare for this process financially. Like I say again, make sure you have legitimate people of good character who will be able to write on your behalf. And do not rush the process. Do not try to go too short routes. You know, because it may not end well for you.
That kind of backdoor, or people who say, maybe give me a little money over here and I'll get this thing done on this.
Exactly.
Don't do that. Okay. So altogether, you said 10 grand for the
estimate
fees, roughly,
plus,
and then just under 5 for the application.
Both application,
15k. Wow.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly. But like I said to someone, to God be the glory. The Bible said that whatever He has started in my life, God will perfect, God will complete. So God knew that this was going to happen, and He, before the war was, He created all these scenarios. He raised up people up to be able to help me. He gave me that motivation, that push, so that when things seem to be going wrong, I kept back cool. I did what was necessary in the financial resources. He opened our doors. Those doors were open. And for now, I'm just saying that because, but this is not an easy process, you know. It's not an easy process, but you have to keep trusting in the Lord. If you believe in what I believe in, which is Christ Jesus, if you don't, of course, whatever you believe in, you have to keep have that belief system going, you know. Keep going, keep that motivation going. Do not give up until you see the finish line.
Okay.
You see, because it is not over until it is over. You see, you have a goal, like you're trying to complete a degree. It's not going to be easy, but you have to keep pushing it. You have to be disciplined, you have to be organized, you have to have all your paperwork in place. You have to keep everything, making sure that when you submit application, there's no loopholes here and there that they're going to cut you on. If there is, try to fill that gap as soon as possible. Yeah, and be very diligent and disciplined about this.
Nice. So again, get your money up or finances.
You just summarized it. You just straight to the point, yeah?
Get your money up, because my goodness, there's a lot of money. And then you said as well before, just before we sort of focused on the financial side of things, but making sure obviously that you've got a clean record, preferably you're, you know, abiding by the law in the country, and but not only that, not just that you're not committing any crimes in the country, but that you have references or character references to say that you're doing good. Yeah. So not just don't do bad things, but you're, whether that's in the community, you mean?
Yeah. So I'll expand on that. So positive contribution, because I would say this, I'm not going into much details of my own situation in the past where the Home Office said, oh, I know Ernest, I'm paraphrasing this. I know you really want to, you love, enjoy living here, etc., etc. I'm just paraphrasing this, but we don't think you have contributed enough to this country. So in plain everyday English, what that means, and even then I have contributed just so much, but there are other reasons why they refused the application anyway. But the point here is contribute to the society. If from that perspective, they want people, it's not just about okay, you are working and paying your taxes. Those are nice things, those are good. Yeah. Maybe you can do a course. Maybe you can do, if English was not a first language, maybe do English courses. Okay. Because I do know some of the requirement for application is to have certain level of English. Yeah. But maybe go beyond that. Do other things. You can, I don't know, volunteer, homeless shelter. Okay. You can maybe volunteer at a school. There's so much thing you could do. Yeah. In a way where you contribute to the society in a positive way. Okay. That you're not just here to occupy space from their perspective, trying to take other people's jobs and I don't want to go down that route, but I'll try my best not to lose my focus. But the point here is you need to be the best version of yourself. You need to be somebody who having an impact in the society in a positive way, and other people can point that out. So for example, I know that references that came from, for example, Mora Primary School, some of the things they said that, well, Ernest worked for us throughout COVID. When people were at home trying to protect themselves from the virus, Ernest was still out there. He could have chose to self-isolate as well to protect himself, but he was still working, he was still teaching, and we know that Ernest do some private work as well. He was still doing that, he was still running the homeless project. I'm just giving you an example of myself. I'm not saying that you should do exact same things I'm doing, but I'm just saying, look, you need to make a strong case here. Because before it was harder. Imagine now where it's so exacerbated and politicized now in a way that's why they increase the money as well. So that means your application have to be even super more stronger. Your contribution have to be much more than even people who put in application previously in the past, like myself. Yeah. So basically I'm saying to you, get busy, get positive, do what it takes so that you give yourself a chance.
Can I ask then, just for you now, having gone through everything that you've gone through, paid obviously a significant amount of money to get all of these things. I know, of course, you're settled in the UK, fine. But for, you know, that's good advice for people who are here, obviously trying to make those applications for indefinitely for British citizenship. But for any, like a Liberian, let's say, who is similar age or maybe in their early 20s, thinking that they want to move to the UK for opportunities, for a better life, all of those things, what advice would you, I asked you this question in the previous video, but in sort of where you are now, what would you say to the 20-year-old you in Liberia now, thinking, okay, let's come to the UK because there are opportunities and maybe they feel like they don't necessarily have those back home? What do you say?
Of course, good question, and
it's very
of course,
wordy. I'm so sorry.
Now, obviously, speaking to people who overseas trying to make an application, particularly Liberia, I do know that the Home Office was trying to encourage foreign students, especially those who apply for master program. I know many countries outside of the UK make good use of such opportunity. Unfortunately, I know that the government going to call out you are not allowed to really bring your dependents here anymore. So obviously, again, seek legal advice. It might be more expensive because you are there trying to seek legal advice here. Of course, getting somebody who live here doing it on your behalf might be much more cheaper.
Yeah.
That's one of the legal routes for coming on a student visa. Another legal route would be coming on a working visa, whether for NHS, any other job in education like teachers, teacher assistant. Now, it might be tricky, difficult because, like I said, now, well, not me saying it, but I'm just quoting from website and what the government intend to do now with immigration. The job have to be paying £38,700. It used to be, if my memory serves me right, between 18 to I think £26,000,
Yeah.
but 47% jump, and that will kicks in from April, the spring of 2024. So again, it's not easy, but I know human determination. People will still find a way, and yeah, and then also there are people there who may be under 18 who could still come here because they have families here who can send for them, but those families need to be earning similar amount,
Yeah.
38,700 or more. So there are still, and there are other legal routes where on compassionate ground. But I'm going to territory where you need to be seeking legal advice. I will say, however, the government is closing a lot of legal routes to come to the UK. They're closing a lot of legal routes. The key point comes down to you need to be financially able. If you're financially able to come here, it won't be as challenging than if you're not financially able. It only depending on compassionate grounds in that sense. And if you are much younger, not a child, but in your 20s and stuff,
Yeah.
it might be difficult if you don't have money because they will see you as an economic migrant. And then it will go back to the point of, well, there are people here who they need to economically get them active again, and they're not economically active, so it makes no sense to be getting people from overseas. So it's a give and take here, and some of these things you may not agree with the government 100%, but you understand what they're trying to do. A society that only depending on overseas for the workforce, I will tell you now, we made this, is now a society that is heading in the right direction. To be honest with you, you need a society where at least large chunk of the workforce is from here, and then the extra base that you need you can get it from overseas. But if you're heavily dependent on overseas workforce, at some point, if they all decide to go by, a system will collapse. That is guaranteed to happen. So I can understand that, but of course the mechanism how they're going about it, my personal opinion is very clear. Of course, it's wrong. They're only doing it because they want to get votes. They are desperate to stay in power. In my opinion, is very clear. They are damaged the economy, etc., etc. But that's separate from answering your question. You just need to be, if you have money, if you're coming from overseas to come, because the legal routes is the gaps have been closed. And I would say one thing about even those who are already here and trying to continue to live here and submitting application ends. I know people sometimes go overseas to travel on holidays and do other things. Make sure the time you spend there does not violate your application, your next application. If you're applying for, I don't know, indefinite leave to remain, there are requirements. You're not allowed to be outside the UK for more than a specific time. I know the absences in terms of EU people who are settled scheme might be slightly different from people, not EU people. Seek legal advice for that. I know people who left the UK and spent so much time there. Now, you can spend a lot of time outside the UK, don't get me wrong, as long as you have legal reason. If it was for bereavement, somebody was ill, then fair enough. If it was just because on holiday,
it's gonna cause
even if it's work, you have to be careful, seek legal advice. Don't just allow your absences to build up, because then that might stop you from applying for a particular option in the immigration requirement. You might have to wait for another 2, 3 more years to build that up. Now, I warn you here, I'm not a solicitor or barrister, seek legal advice, but I'm just telling you general knowledge, things I know from my own situation. For me, I live here throughout since 2007 up to this present. So there was no way they could say, oh yeah, you were absent from this time to this time. And I had to explain, oh, why you have this gap here.
Yeah.
Well, why was you? No. They couldn't say any of those things because I have been here. As long as you can document your absences and within the immigration rules, or you can justify why you've been absent, then it should be fine.
Okay. Can I ask, then, like personally, do you feel like what you can gain here is valuable? So in terms of for people back home in Liberia and Africa, the Caribbean, and again, sort of what they're hoping to gain here or get from the UK, or whether that's America or other places in the West, do you think it's worth having, you know, done this process? Would you argue that it's worth the financial hardship that you're going to deal with again, the struggles in terms of getting those applications in, potential rejections, all of those things? Do you think the cost outweighs the means?
Brilliant question. I think obviously to answer the question, I'll answer in twofold. You have to be careful because this might relate to people from different perspective of life. You may be at a different place in your life. This may not be for everybody because this is an emotionally challenged marathon. What you're going to do in your life. There's no guarantee the application is going to be approved, and all the money you're spending. There are arguments where we say, well, if you have this money, if somebody offer you this, £10,000, £15,000, you can do a lot of things back home in Liberia or Ghana or Barbados or wherever you're from. Why you want to go through all this stress? So you have that argument, and it's a fair, legitimate argument there, because again, I'm going to quote from scripture, I'm going to paraphrase. God sets time and space where people live and they can prosper there. There are no set places on this planet that you can say, oh, this is guaranteed. If you come here, you're going to be successful. I can tell you, there are people who came here and they're not living a successful life.
Yeah.
They're living a stressful life. They are struggling financially. They are barely ends meeting. Some argue that they are surviving instead of living. Having said all that, I couldn't focus on other economic things that the UK gave. The UK is part of the G7. The UK economy is triple A's or B's. What that really means is that you can have a good credit record. So that means even if they run out of money, they can IMF can loan them money. They are in a place where many countries across the world will only dream, will only desire of being in. So they are like the opportunity here is much more than many other places in the world. And of course, if you are younger as well, you have so much more opportunity to go to university. Even if you don't go to university, you have opportunity to open your own business, apprenticeship scheme. The list is countless. You have the rule of law. Do you have what it takes? Do you have the emotional drive? Do you have the financial drive to go through all this? Because I think the Home Office, even about, or maybe from April, in order to, if you come on a working visa to settle here, you may have to live here for 7-8 years. Now, seek legal advice to confirm this number I'm giving you. But the point is, you may have to go through a marathon. And there may be people who will not go through all this. Everything will just go smooth, step, bam, bam, bam. It's just life. It's just one of those things where your experiences may be different from person B. But generally speaking, yes, this is an outstanding country to live in. It's amazing. They set many law-based order on the planet, and many countries look at their example and envy them. And many people wants to be here. Many people wants to represent Team GB, and many people wants to live here, wants to walk to the park, want to see the historical of Britain, and all those things are fantastic. But the real question you have to ask yourself, this may not be for me, simply because I don't have the emotional capacity to go through all this. Because what if my application is denied? It's not the end of the world in general sense. You may need then to have a legal challenge. You need money. It may take many years. Or why go through all this stress? When all the money you can have, you can do you can build a life in another place, back home. So I would say, from a biblical perspective, pray about these things, seek legal advice, seek spiritual advice, counseling. Yeah, in more of understanding your purpose in life, really, where you think God wants you to settle. I do know, before we came to the UK, I know that I wasn't going to continue to live in Liberia. I know that because, of course, by the grace of God, my dad had opportunity to come in the UK to work on behalf of the Liberian government. And by default, I know that God opened that way for us to come here. So I knew that we were going to come here. But bear in mind, it was not easy. We knew that we're coming here, it was going to be a struggle, it was going to be a challenge. But we still came because we know that our purpose in life was connected to this country. Was it easy? No. Was it worth it? Of course, yes. I'll do this all again.
Okay.
But that's me. That's my personality. Those who know me, they know. I grind things. I have grit. And let's talk about. Now we're going to the next question. I don't know the next question what it will be, but I completed a degree now. I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to go for my MBA. I might do 2 masters. Who knows? But I have an opportunity to make my dream become a reality. It's not just about, oh, I want to make an impact. I have a reason to live. Every day I wake up in the morning, I know that I have a purpose in life. I represent Christ, the hope of glory. And I represent it in many different perspectives, from a spiritual perspective, but also from a natural, every perspective, where I can have an impact on children in a positive way, on families, on society as a whole, both here and globally. So whatever the Lord leads me, really. But I have to equip myself. I have to equip my knowledge. I have to equip myself in many different ways to be the best I can be.
But thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for coming again, giving us part 2, letting us know what's going on with you at the moment. And thank you again for your advice once again for our viewers. If you have any questions, please message me and I'll ask Ernest, please, to him, to me, any information that you need or any advice you want from Ernest too, please write to me, let me know. But thank you again for coming on my YouTube and sharing your story, sharing your history. Like, second time round, we appreciate it all the more. And congrats.
Thank you so much. Thank
everything that you're doing. I'm excited to see what you're up to.
Thank you so much. I will just give a brief summary if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so many people this might be too much information. So the summary really is about, I moved to the UK in 2007. I put the application in 2017 for indefinite leave to remain. And then I received my indefinite leave to remain in 2022. I was able to complete my degree, undergraduate, in 2023. I became a British citizen in 2023 as well. I'm about to go on to do a master in business administration, specialized in business management, from 2024. I run my own businesses in the UK. More focus is on childcare, holiday camp, one-to-one tutorial, especially having to do with sports. I also do business consultancy. I do a lot of volunteer work for my church, homeless project, youth work, etc., etc. You can achieve so much if you put your mind to it, by the grace of God. So don't allow anybody, any system that will make things so difficult for you. You can rise and shine. Salvation is at hand. So I'm always here. My details will be there. Feel free to get in touch with Noreen. But like I always say, if I end on this, you owe yourself. Your generation need to be the better of your parent generation. And if you have that mindset, you can achieve anything in this world, if it's according to the will and purpose of your life, according to Christ Jesus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh my goodness. Well, thanks again for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Comment as well if you have any questions for Ernest and for me. Thank you once again for being on my YouTube. Thank you for watching, everyone. Ernest has spoken for the second time, guys. And so we're asking you once again, Wahura.
Wahura.
Yeah, which means, are you listening?
Oh, wow. That's a powerful translation. Many people are not listening. But are you listening?
Are you listening? All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.